I'm back again. So, I get asked all the time about these airboat engines, how they work, their RPMs, yada yada yada, in reference to the prop, blades, the pitch, if they're fixed, this, that, and the other. So, wanted to make a video and explain, well, numerous things, but summarize pretty much how we dictate the RPM we want to be on our engine is going to be based on, I guess you kind of need to start with your horsepower, your torque, and then what gear ratio you want to run and what prop you want to run. So all three of those have to be in consideration. So I guess kind of the best rule of thumb is, depending on the style of boat, typically the boats around here in my area, Texas, are heavier boats. Unlike in Florida, they're a lot lighter boats. Most Florida boats are lightweight, very fast. So they're gonna choose different scenarios, options than we typically will. But we're kind of trancing over a little bit on the Florida style. We're definitely not as light around here, but our area, our design of boats has came up tremendously, and I would say that probably the past 12 to 14 years, we're now pretty much just a different design than what they used to be, what this area is used to. Everyone's kind of crossing over. I'm not saying we're copying off of Florida by any means, but there's only so much you can do. Anyways, I'm getting off subject. Today I went and picked up a customer's boat. You can see it right here behind me. It's following me around. It is a LS60, pretty much stock engine, twin turbo on about 8 pounds of boost right now. Eventually, not right now, but eventually customer wants to go to probably like 11 pounds, something safe. And we're not exactly sure how many pounds of boost it's running. We never actually put a gauge on it, but it's somewhere between 6 and 8. But for now, this is running a 5-blade, let's see, EX, which means that prop is good to 2,500 RPM. This belt box that's on this boat is a 2.7 to 1. I believe it's 2.7. Yeah. So he can turn like, golly, 6750 on his engine, I think. I'll have to do the math on it, calculation on it, but I'm in a tunnel. Kind of looks funny. So anyways, some props are 2,700, 2,500, 2,250. That's mainly what I deal with. Mainly just deal with the two of them, which is 2,250 and 2,500. So, you know, if you've got a 2,500 RPM prop, that means that the manufacturer of that blade typically is Sensnick or Whirlwind. They don't want that prop to exceed 2,500 RPMs, which is based on the tip speed. So if you had a 2-to-1 ratio box, 2,500 prop, you can only spin your engine $5,000. So back to what I was saying a minute ago, if you've got a big block and you don't want to spin over, say, 5,000 RPM, then a 2-to-1 ratio box might be pretty much ideal for you, and it kind of a good setup, 2,500, you know, everything kind of matches. My personal boat is a 2.7 ratio, but my blade is a Whirlwind super wide, and its max RPM is 2250, and I run my engine 6,000, which based on the manufacturer's specs I can go to, I think it's like 6,075 RPM, something like that. It's around in there. So mine's pretty efficient. I'm turning the prop to its max RPM, gives me good cruise speed, good wide open throttle all around, good setup. But there's so many different combinations you can run, you know, with your ratios and your different style of props, your width of your blades, the number of your blades. Like I said, I'm running a 4 blade. This one here's a 5 blade. It's too much prop for this boat, for its horsepower. You could probably pull a blade off of this, which we'd have to do a hub change on it, and probably overall pick up performance throughout the whole RPM range, if I was guessing. This is a really heavy boat, and typically based on heavy boats, if you can spin an extra blade, typically it gives them a little better bottom end, and you'll lose a little top end, which these big boats don't care about top end. But there's a lot of factors in that takes place too. So you know, if you've got a pitch range there, so you got a happy medium, you know, kind of a torque curve in your props, kind of like an engine dyno does. So you want to be within, and I'm just going to spitball these numbers, say 12 degrees and, I don't know, 22 degrees. You want to be somewhere in that range. If you've got 4 blades that are at 14 degrees and you throw on a 5th blade and now you drop down to, say, 7 degrees, you're really more efficient if you go ahead and go back to that 4 blade. And we haven't done any testing on this particular boat here with, you know, blade changes, but I think that it would be happier with the 4 blade, but none of that really matters. So here shortly I'm gonna be pulling up at the shop. It's 81 degrees right now. It's been like 105 the past couple weeks here, and 101, and it feels like 109, I think is what the heat index has been, which is terrible. But yeah, kind of feel like working on the yard today. I'm gonna give you a little rundown on, I guess, kind of my style of how I like to set the pitch. Everyone's gonna kind of have their own little ways of doing it. Whatever works for you, great. Just consistency, you know, you want each blade to be spot on, and it is plus or minus, you know, a small variable. I don't like to exceed 0.1. I really like to be, like, here in a minute, whenever I get this thing, start pitching on it, if I'm at 13.4 on one blade, then I want all 5 of them to be 13.4. Some guys, you know, I've done it before, I haven't had any issues with it, but a lot of people say, hey man, plus or minus 0.1. But I just feel like, you know, my personal boat, I would probably 0.1 is fine with me, but a customer boat, I like to get everything spot on. Okay. So, drop this thing. Another reason, so the main reason why I'm having to repitch this is, for some reason, I'm going to do a little identifying and figure out what's going on, but for some reason, this prop, the blades are moving in it. So we'll get it all set up on the trailer. We're running 5,300 RPM. So the reason why I say on the trailer is because when you hit the water and you're actually propelling forward, get a little tongue twister there, you'll pick up roughly about 200 RPM. So 5,300 on the trailer is about 5,500 on the water. So for some reason, he's 5,500 on the water, 5,300 on the trailer. For some reason, the other day when it went out, it hit like 5,900. It's not free horsepower, so it wasn't cold that day. You know, temperature, barometric pressure, all that things, they can change a little bit and give or take a little horsepower. You know, intake air temp, fluctuation. You know, colder the air temp, more power. That's not the case here. We're not going to pick up 400 RPM like that. So definitely one of the blades has twisted a touch. Might torque it down just a touch more. We might do 45 plus a quarter turn, because this isn't the first time this has happened on this prop. And for some reason it's raining. Weird. Yeah, and I'm watering my yard and it starts raining. Cool. Hey. Means I don't have to water the whole thing, I guess. Maybe if it rains more. Alright, I got some excellent shade tree. It's cloud coverage. Feels great out here. Checking the pitch here. This is a rough estimate. We don't go by this for 100% accuracy. Just a setup. But you can see a really small notch right here in this aluminum. And it shows that one there is on about 5 degrees. This one's on about 5. This one's on about 7. It's hard to see this one, but it's almost 2, maybe 3. And then about 7. Kind of hard to see that right there, but that one's probably 9. So I think this one should be at about 7 degrees. So this one here is at 7. So I'm gonna take my digital thing here, fire it up, put it on vertical. Definitely don't want that one. Okay, there we go. Get my ladder over here. This is a tall boat. Now what I like to do, nobody's in the boat. It's setting on its own. I don't care if it's level or not, but I'm gonna set, I've got a zip tie right there, and that blade is just about to touch it right there. Just barely hovering over it. I think I moved it a little bit. I usually like for it to actually touch. Yeah, like that right there. And then with that there, turn this around where I can see it. I'm gonna line up my gauge finder with that. I'm gonna have it level up and down, and I'm gonna check my pitch, 20.7, 20.8. So sometimes you can, yeah, you see how that'll rock. So you just wanna make sure you do that. I'm gonna do it the same way 5 times. So line up with a zip tie. I'm gonna push down and to the right, 20.7. That one there's probably where they all need to be. So 20.7 is gonna be my number. So I'll spin that one, the next one around, and set it up, do the exact same thing, come around here to this. I'll try to see if I can do it one-handed. I don't have my camera set up on right now. So I'll go a little bit past it. Oh. Okay, just touched. 20.7 is my number. Make sure I'm straight up and down. Look at that, 18.5. Definitely needs more pitch in it. All right, so I'm gonna loosen those up. I loosen them, but I don't get them extremely loose. That way, when I go to my next blade, they kind of hold their position. Okay, that one's reading 19.3. Level's vertical. So I gotta put a touch of pitch in it. Going for 20.7. There's 20.4, so it needs just a touch. That probably didn't move. I think it went the other way. That one moved. 20.8, come on. Oh, that moved. There we go, 20.7. All right, so we got 3 down. 2 more to go. I like to tighten up these center ones, bouncing around a little bit so that I don't move the pitch of the blades. So I'm just going to slowly snug those up a little bit. And then I'll get my outers. Then I'll torque down the centers. Being this one keeps slipping the blades and the specs are 45, I'm gonna go to 50. Then I'll do the smaller ones. Definitely 35. I'm gonna finalize them at 40. Okay. Now, with this pitch, hopefully, we're going to do a test run here in a second on the trailer. We're going to get this thing warmed up and give a little test hit and see how it does. That'll work. Okay. Trying to tweak the RPMs there. They're pretty close. Ah, we're up to temp 172. That gauge here is off. We're gonna have to adjust that. Let's see how it does. What are you laughing about? Got to put more pitch in it. It's too many. Okay, we added about 2 degrees to it. I'll make another hit and see how that does. We'll let him see how he likes that, and we'll tweak it if need be. So, that pretty much sums that up.